Hello, this is Eagle Gardens, Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram, and this is fucking talking shit with Eagle. This is episode 130. I hope you guys had a great day. I did. We had a little bit of computer problem on my end tonight. Had to do a restart, BIOS reset. So sorry we were dragging a little bit behind, but completely my fault. But we're going to have a great show tonight. We have another Michigan grower, veteran, great guy in front of me here, Michigan native. Hello, how you doing tonight? You want to tell everybody where they can find you first, foremost, and then tell us how your day's been.
Excellent, excellent. I'm a Michigan native on YouTube and Instagram as well, and I'm everywhere, man. I'm in all the communities and a little bit of everything all at once.
Right on, right on. So, how was your day today?
Excellent. I can't
Start
complain. I
off.
got my poly done and on my greenhouse outdoors, so that's ready for the good old Michigan weather coming up soon, and I feel good.
Man, it is. It is. At least up here in northern Michigan, I'm not quite sure where you're at, but it seems like things are flipping pretty fast up here.
Oh yeah, for
Some
sure.
nice chilly nights already.
Oh yeah, I think it's already 59 outside in the greenhouse.
That's pretty nice. In the greenhouse, that's up here.
It's my first year growing outside. I've only been growing for a couple years now. I grow for personal use only. It's hard to keep up with my habit. I already smoke a half pound a month, so above and beyond that, it's, stuff to play with, make wax and rosin and everything out of.
Right on, right on. Well, you've cut the show a few times, right on?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Nice.
Cheers, teacher.
Well then you know the routine. Yeah, make sure, like I said, do shout outs as you see, my friend.
Oh yeah, I like I
Uh,
said, I've only been growing for a couple of years. I'm a disabled veteran and I'm freshly retired. Let's see, 2008. So I've been out for a little over a decade, and so far, weed's the only thing that helps with PTSD and just dealing with life. Period. It helps. I don't need any prescription medication from the VA and all that. I just need the natural substances. Been dabbling a little
right.
bit with mushrooms because I heard excellent results on dealing with PTSD and mushrooms and microdosing, and I've just started dealing with that or starting to grow.
Nice, nice. Well, let's start back from the beginning, brother. When was the first time that you actually dealt with the plant? I know it's your medicine now, but was it something you played with long ago before it was a medicine?
Not really too much. I was more of a consumer before I started using it medicinally. I'd buy a little bit
Right,
here
right.
and a
When
little bit
was that?
there. Before I
When
joined the
was the
military,
first time?
I think the first time when I was about 12, out of a pop can, like everybody else.
Right on, right on.
But I only did it a couple of
Uh,
times. Then I moved down south and had a little bit of their weed down there. It was pretty good, but it was just something about Michigan weed. I love it.
how long was you down south there for?
I think I stayed down there for I want to say like 3 years. Cheers, Page
Right
Farm.
on, right on. So when did it become like a regular thing?
Uh, I want to say at least the last decade for sure. At least the last decade. I started off, an ounce here, ounce there. Now at about a half pound a month consistently. I'm trying to. I'm shooting to out smoke Willie Nelson one day. I got a lot of catching up to do.
That'd be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool for sure. The strain Willie Nelson, or to actually smoke with Willie Nelson?
No, actually, I would smoke or consume more in my
To
lifetime
out
more than he.
smoke him?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Got a lot
that'd
of
be a
practice
feat.
in.
At least you got a goal. At least you
Oh
got a
yeah.
goal, my friend.
Hell yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about life, man. What actually, what led you to getting in the service, my friend? And thank you
Uh,
for your
it,
service, by the way,
it was
before we get started.
it was you're welcome. Thank you for your support. It was a family thing. It goes back generations. A lot of my family served, so figure why not? It was my turn, and then you know, I'm kind of glad I did because I mean I look at weed as medicine now for sure because it helps with PTSD like a motherfucker.
What strains do you find actually work the best for you, if you don't mind me asking?
Um, I
Are there
I'm
some go
growing
tos?
Alaskan Thunderfuck and Agent Orange perpetually right now. I like the more the sativa dominant hybrids. It helps me get through the day, but still medicate at the same time. And then I like to throw little flavors testers here and there to see what else is out there, what's new, what's good. Try to keep up, but there's a lot of things coming out. Trying to play a little bit with some of the older stuff too, with some of the land races. That'd be fun to play with.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So, how long were you in the military, if you don't mind me asking?
I was active duty for 5 years. Got medically retired for back and foot problems and PTSD, and but I got to travel the world on Uncle Sam's dollar, and you know I spent a little time down in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. It's where I did most of my training to be a mechanic for the military. I was a diesel mechanic, and then my first duty station was in Fort Lewis, Washington, which was a hell of a change from Michigan to Washington. 'Cause it's West Coast, and all it did was rain all the time. Like my last 27 days straight was all rain, so that wasn't the greatest. But the best part about it is while I was there, I did get a year free desert vacation, so I didn't have to spend the whole time there. I got to go play in the sandbox. Then when I came back, I transferred to Fort Drum, New York, and stayed there for a couple years, and then got medically retired from there and came back to Michigan. Been here since 2008.
Yeah, right on. So, tell me about a little bit about your grow there. When was
Oh,
it exactly your first grow? How much was there a big difference from the first experience to now?
oh yeah, my first girl re-vegged halfway through a flower. 'Cause I have a light controller right here that controls all my different drivers and my channels, and it had a moon channel that was a green light, and I wasn't thinking and hooked it up, and it actually sent my flowering plants back into re-veg with the green LED. So my first harvest was half of my plants. I had 6 foot tall plants, and I only got like the lowers off of it. The rest of it went in re-veg. So I'm on perpetual, so I always had something coming back right behind it, anyways. So the next grow was a lot better, but did not have the moon. The moon's been gone since. But with I build lights and LEDs. With the controller and everything, I can have sun up and sun down, and I have cloud channels and lightning channels. It's pretty cool to watch if you're bored, but I mean, in all actuality, all it does is give me longevity on my drivers and my diodes, and they're not just running full blast all day, which is nice on my pocket and the energy bill as well. I, I'm
Right on.
I guess I'm a weed nerd. I like playing around with shit. I'm always constantly starting up new projects, and I'm working on making feminized beans right now. It's a first. It's going pretty good so far. My female male has already got balls, and all my other girls are in flowers. So it'll be soon enough, and I'll have a bunch of seeds.
Nice, nice. So, what was the first? Did you build your first light?
No, I bought some uh, pink lights off of Amazon when I first started, and they were just too hot, and they didn't have no heat sinks, and I was tired of exhausting the heat, and I couldn't keep up with it, so I started building my own bar lights just to keep down on heat and everything. And I think it's a better spectrum because I get to play. I've been playing with color recipes for the last 2 years, and I think I got the one I'm liking, down to a T pretty much. It's like a red, white, and blue spectrum to where half my light is usually around 35K, and then I throw, some 27K and 65K in a 2-to-1 ratio in there to, give me the full broad spectrum. Because with the 65Ks, it touches, the blues, and then with the 27Ks, it touches the red. So I don't need, the extra diodes that are on the strips as well. Just when you spread the light out and everything. Excuse me.
Nice. So, what? What's your light background? A little bit, if you don't mind me asking. Was it just an interest that you researched and started to dive into, or
I,
is
I,
it
I,
something that you had skill with before?
I've always been a tinkerer, and I mean, the lights are just really easy and simple for me, and I can just knock them out left and right. I don't do like a necessary cookie cutter light. Like I don't have a prepackaged light that's ready to rock and roll all the time. I do custom lights for custom spaces and custom spectrums,
Nice. That's badass. That's
just because nobody
badass.
nobody else does. Why not?
Right on. Right on. There's a lot of room for a lot of improvement in the LED industry for sure, and a lot of room for recipes, light recipes. Nobody's figured out that magic gem yet, so it's great that you've got other people like yourself that are going outside the box and experimenting with different mixes for sure. That's
Right.
pretty damn cool.
It,
For one, I wish I was a little bit more plug and play literate myself. It's for somebody that's growing as long as I have. I can't believe it. I'm very tinker friendly. You know what I mean? I like to take things apart. I can't believe I just haven't sat down and watched a shit whole load of light videos yet and tried because it is obviously the way. I mean, look at what's going on behind me. I got that's a 300 behind me. Okay, and that's a fucking yellow Fowie. You know what I mean? Which one I think is more beneficial here?
right. Right. It's a lot brighter and a lot better
Yeah, I
output
think
for sure.
I need to make sure everything's going this way, and with a little bit of knowledge, I think I could at least take some of these old clusterfuck lights I got up here and do something with them, or I don't know, save some money, do on a DIY kit, or I don't know, man. What do you think about all the new technology? I mean, it's so hard to keep up with. How do you
I,
keep up
I,
with what you use?
I mean, it's hard. It's almost impossible to keep up with it because it seems like as soon as you have the newest and coolest diode, then the next one comes out, kind of thing. So I mean, I like to be able to play around with both ends of the spectrums. I like to play around with the newer stuff, but at the same time, with the LM561C diodes, the second best that Samsung has right now, I have most of my room set up in those. So I mean,
So if
it
I know
depends.
what a diode light has, and I see another brand with that same diode, is there any difference? Just the driver, basically.
I mean, it depends because I mean, there's so many counterfeit lights out on the market now, so it's almost impossible to fairly judge them because some of them are real diodes and some of them are fake diodes. It all depends on where you source your lights from, I guess. 'Cause a lot of the Alibaba lights are the counterfeit diodes right now. I mean, not all of their lights are like that, but I'd say a good percentage would be for sure.
Oh, don't hold back, brother. I mean, for real. I mean,
I mean,
spit that shit out. I mean,
I,
it's your opinion.
I buy all my strips. I buy all my strips stateside. I mean, they might be purchased like from a big retailer from overseas, but not by me. I keep it stateside for sure. But the ones I'm usually working with are all the Samsung diodes, just the regular bar lights and everything, just in every shape and size you can configure it in. I build lights locally
Oh,
around where I'm at down in Jackson, and then I got a couple people in the community that want lights and everything. I just haven't gotten to that point to where I'm actually producing a lot of them yet.
you should. I mean,
Oh
that
yeah,
should be a thing, man.
oh yeah.
So, you said you mentioned the bar lights. You're a fan of the bar lights there. I'm a fan too. You know, over the boards. I just like the more even spread of the light, being able to get it closer to. I think it's a huge benefit.
Well, not only that, it all depends on the environment. If you're working in a tent and you have a big fan on the top and it's blowing on the top of a quantum board light, you're just blowing on the top of a big sheet of aluminum. You're not getting anything through it. But with the bar lights, if you have a fan on top, you're blowing it right onto your canopy, which with the passive cooling and everything, it just dissipates heat so much more efficiently. It just pulls the heat right out of the boards. It makes it nice. My I, Mine running full blast all day. They're only about 85 degrees. I can walk up and put my hands right around the bars, and it never burned me or scorched me or anything. And with the controller I run, it's even less than that, just because I'm looking for longevity, not performance. So I only have to keep up with myself.
Right on, right on. What on average? What are the units pulling out of the wall that you build?
This whole rack right here is 1,340 watts worth of power, and it ran at 110, so it's only pulling right around 1,000 watts. But it's three different light fixtures in the room behind me. It's 7 foot by 12 foot room, three different areas that I work in.
That's pretty efficient, really.
If it was ran at 220, I'd get the full 1,340 watts out of the drivers, but I'm running at 110. I haven't made that wiring conversion yet.
So, are you saying like it? Because I run mostly almost everything. These right here are running 110 just because of the way I threw it up temporarily. But tonight, actually, I'll be throwing a cord over and running them out of the 220 box. So, with them running on 220, can I actually like tweak them up a little bit? Is that what
Oh
you're telling
yeah,
me?
you'll get the full performance out of them because I mean ran at 110. I mean a 200 watt driver ran at 110. I think it's only like 160, 170 watts from the wall. So I mean, the bigger your driver goes, the more it goes down. Like I have a 600-watt light build that I have, and it's pulling 459 watts from the wall, run at 110. But if it was ran at 220, it'd be the full 600 for sure.
Nice, nice. Can't wait to switch.
Uh,
Can't
it,
wait to switch it.
it's worth it in the long run. Your equipment actually runs on less amps and it's more efficient. So you could actually put
You're
more
up.
lighting in for the same amount of power.
It's actually cooler on the equipment, correct? Your
Oh yeah,
ballast actually run cooler.
oh yeah, everything will. I mean, when the amps ain't cranking up like that, because I mean, I think I don't know. I have my whole room right here on one circuit besides the air conditioner, and I'm not tripping any circuit, so I'm right under the 15 amps.
It's pretty badass right there.
Oh yeah.
Are you even bothering to run the air conditioner? I
Well,
mean,
I
they
have it
get
on.
warm, but does
I have it
total
on a
get that
thermos.
hot?
I have it on a thermostatic controller, so it keeps it to where I don't have the exhaust fans kicking on. Those are a fallback in case the AC doesn't keep up. I have everything set up on sensors and everything. I can get to be a very lazy gardener sometimes. So the more I can automate it, the more I'm going straight towards that direction. I have a hypothetical automated watering system. One uh, shit, I can't remember the name of it right now. I'm one bulkhead fitting away from having it tested and running and 100%. So I'd be excited that day because then I won't have to bend over and water so much, and I'll be able to get in there and train the girls a little bit instead of letting them do what they do after I'm sick of watering.
Right on, right on. That's pretty cool. I dig that you guys that are like full automation. I'm far from it yet. You know, I'm still stuck in my old ways. It's still hand water and whatever. But I admire them rooms that are super on point, like yourself. There's another gentleman that hangs out in this community chat, Sergeant Pepper. It always impresses me how you guys, everything on point, lights, schedules, fucking just click, 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 click. I don't know. Sooner or later, I may get there, but man, it's a beautiful thing to watch, man. It
So
just sit back and watch
only
it do
time
its
it
own
only
thing.
time it sucks is when the internet goes out. Then everything's off on haywire and nothing works, and you have to plug everything in manually. So that's the only time it sucks is if the internet goes down. For the most part, I mean, some of the systems will still run really good, like the AC, all that, all those systems aren't auto. But the whole rack, I have a whole power strip right here that's got an app for half the plugs to be able to control them and everything on a timer, however I want to set them up.
So I asked you about that first room, that first grow, but we kind of like squirreled right off of that shit. But tell me a little bit about it. I mean, like what pots, what medium,
I was u-
exactly what light.
I was using a Vanderlight. It was one of those pink lights. It wasn't a blurple light. It was one of those pink ones that hurt your eyes, and you don't see like a weird green spectrum when you walk away from it for a while. And that's one of the main reasons I wanted to start building lights because it hurt my damn eyes so much, and I'm too stubborn to wear glasses, so I might as well have a white spectrum that doesn't mess with your eyes too bad. But I think I was running 5 gallon pots on my first run. I had three Alaskan Thunderfuck and three Allen wrenches going, and I think I was about a month and a half into flower, just really close to. It was right before the bulking stage, and that's when I, started tinkering around and turned the moon on, and fucked everything up pretty good. But I got to reap a little bit off of it. I got a little bit of liar fall off the bottom. So the beautiful part was I got to stop buying weed, which was nice, and it got me through to my next harvest. I started perpetual when I started growing, so I started harvesting every month because I just kept a constant flow growing with the clones and everything. Is a lot of parts moving and everything, but I think it was worth it because as soon as you start it and you get to your first harvest, it doesn't ever turn off. You're constantly going, constantly, like a faucet.
I'm a perpetual myself, and I love it. I love it. It's just about something to be said about having fresh medicine every month, and I don't like that crispy over dry shit. You know what I mean?
No,
It
no,
doesn't appeal to me at all, man. I don't mind cleaning my scissors. I keep a fucking right here utility knife that's uh, oddly enough right here it is. Right here. This is my little scissor cleaner because this shit's always sticky, man.
yeah.
I prefer it that way. I'd rather clean my scissors and give myself a nice little hashy treat every now and again than
Oh yeah,
crumble my fucking butt up and try catching keef and shit. And anyway, again, I hate watching that people grind that shit in. Like, use the keef catcher. I'm like, why are you dumbing down your weed? You've worked so hard or you paid so much for it. Why are you trying to fucking separate it? Smoke half as much if that's the case. Or, hit it
right,
once or twice. Leave it all together. That's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? What the fuck?
right, 100%. I love the medicinal part. I mean, every strain has its particular set of medicinal values it holds, and I hope to be able to try every strain one day. I keep my goals and my hopes big. That way, it gives me something to keep going towards and trying, and always a new day to try something new.
In super soil, you like to run in cocoa, programs.
I I I run with Pro Mix HP mainly, but I got you know I didn't have much of a choice the last time I went to the grocery store, and I got HPCC, and it's got the peat, the perlite, and the cocoa in it, and I'm not digging it as much as just the peat and the perlite, just because I like to run really dry. I don't have fungus gnat problems or anything like that. I live on a knife's edge of, my girls being unhappy, and them being happy with the watering and everything, just because that's where a lot of people go wrong is overwatering, and the next thing you know, you're covered in fungus gnats, and it's unneeded battle, 100%. I use top dressing amendments in it's actually the Mendo Dope lasagna tech style recipe or whatever, but I use them as the top dressing amendments, and it does the same thing, but the combination between the neem meal and the crab meal, it keeps everything down, contained, and everything up, you know contained for the IPM and everything. So I usually try to run with that, and I I'm definitely a hybrid system because I run half synthetic and half organic, but not too much of either, and I don't flush at the end. And my end product has a really good medicinal value, and it doesn't have any kind of bad flavors or anything. I, I I've had a few people in the community, smoke my medicine, and they can't taste the difference in between, what I produce and I guess what's considered good clean medicine.
So, if you don't mind me asking, what nutrient lineup do you run?
I'm running Fox Farm, or not Fox Farm. I'm running the Down to Earth. amendments, and I'm also running Floraflex. So the hybrid synthetic salts and the organic side. I like to play with teas and everything. I'm playing with more teas and organic side outside for sure, just because it's all new. Everything out there is new for me. I've never grown outside or organically, or I'm just trying to cross off a lot of boxes at once.
Well, I'm in cocoa myself, and with synthetics salts, and I do the same thing. I mix in a little bit of worm castings in with my cocoa, and then I feed occasionally with a little bit of fish fertilizer, and a little bit of molasses on top of my two-part salts, which is probably pretty close to your Floraflex, just a generic version, realistically. Um, and I love it. They seem to do well. Like you said, it's a little bit of a hybrid system, but it works well. For me.
I ran a Jax 321 for my first, I think, year and a half of growing, and I saw the difference between the Floraflex and the Jax 321 just because the Jax is just a lot of salt buildups, and you can build algae easy, and with Floraflex it fully dissolves in water. I love it. It's just, I mean, fully mixed. You can see all the way through your feed and everything. So it feels better
That
than
is,
mixing mud.
I gotta agree with you there. I've ran a lot of nutrient lineups myself, and it wasn't until this last uh, nutrient company that threw me some here. This, to be honest with you, the generic fertilizers that I began to appreciate the clarity of when you mix something up. I'm like, man, that's nice. You know what I mean? You actually feel a little bit about dumping that shit on your plants when you mix it up and you can still see bottom. That's like, all right. That was one thing that I noted too. Right off the bat, I couldn't put my finger on it, but just being able to see that bottom just was like, oh, it feels good. It just felt right.
Oh yeah, and then the taste of the medicine on the other end is just nice and clean, as opposed to tasting like bottled nukes. I've had a few people's their grows, and all you taste is heavy metals or something that you're not supposed to taste. And that's not what I'm shooting for. I smoke too much to smoke that kind of weed. I don't think I'd be able to breathe anymore.
I appreciate your mark too, man. I appreciate that, Mark, man. That's 2 week easy, and that's chiefing. That's
Oh
uh,
yeah,
that's my kind of smoking right there, man. I understand you use it a little bit more, medicinally, but as a smoker, I appreciate the number. To be honest with you, there's nothing with partaking heavy. If you ask me, you know what I mean. It works great for everything. It's like almost like a vitamin in one form and a medication.
oh yeah,
Never
100%.
really
Almost like
knew
a
that.
fixed all cure all from the beginning to the end of the day.
I always joke around that, even before our current state in cannabis, I wish people really knew. I probably don't. How much of America and shit got done every day with like a wake and bake and a safety meeting, throughout the day. You know what I mean?
Oh
It's
yeah,
just how shit gets done. Why most people all these years have been throwing out that lazy stereotype and shit. Them stoners are lazy. Shit, man, half of America gets built every day on a fucking safety meeting while you guys are calling
oh
lazy
yeah,
and shit. That
one
fucking
hundred percent.
that,
I know a lot of productive stoners. I mean,
shit. In fact, of speaking of productive fucking stoners, I want to fucking hold on. Oh, I think, yep, I am hooked up to my fucking my speaker here. So it will play nice and loud and proud. We're gonna go over here to my voicemail. Talk about kicking ass, Michigan. Hold on. Where the fuck is it? You always got to struggle when you're live, right?
Oh yeah.
I actually got to type it in and search for this shit. Not fucking. All right, you guys ready for this? And this is a fucking thank you to everybody that fucking posted this shit and fucking made that fucking call. Listen to this shit. I know. Come on.
My name is Zachary Sokol, and I work for State Representative Jeff Yarrick. I am calling with regards to the voicemail you left on House Bill 6022 regarding caregivers, and I wanted to pass along that Representative Jeff Yarrick has decided that he is not moving forward with this bill.
Thank you to all you guys, just like myself, that fucking called on that shit and fucking
Awesome.
said we weren't gonna fucking put up with that shit. That's what fucking community and how fucking lazy stoners can fucking get shit done right there.
Exactly.
Fuck yeah.
God well
Shout
done.
out to all you guys that did that shit.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. Thank you to everybody.
They were coming after us and we said we weren't gonna fucking take that shit.
No. Nope. They're already taking enough.
So as the first round went to the second round there, obviously you patched up the moon. You
Oh yeah.
patched up the moon there.
I didn't do nothing but get better and better and better ever since, and I've been honing my skills in and playing around with new things. And lately, I've been uh, the last, I want to say, 4 or 5 runs. I've been playing with more diverse sugars, and I'm definitely digging that move. Thank you, Pharaoh Smoke. Shout out Pharaoh Smoke for that one. He challenged me to do it. I'm a stubborn motherfucker, so it was a lot for me to do it, and I did it, and I'm very proud that I did because it changed my Agent Orange from being a citrusy, like very chlorine on the exhale to a very sweet and you know orangey flavor that I was looking for, and that changed into the more diverse sugars is what did it for sure, 100%. I'm gonna take me a big old fat dab with some Alaskan Thunderfuck Fresh Pest from about a half an hour ago.
She was gonna be mad that I'm sneaking that dad song. We're cool. uh, hell yeah.
Sugars for the win.
So tell me about that last and fun Thunderfuck, man. I haven't hold on. I gotta take a dab with you. Do you know what the fucking dab song is, by the way?
I'm not sure.
Well, you know, embracing organics. It's an Ozzy's got his dab bell, right?
Right.
Well, at some point, I started dabbing, and I don't know exactly how. I know it's. I'm gonna relate it directly to Tanazi. You know, I'm not gonna take dab time away from Tanazi by any means. But we instead of the bell, we just incorporated a fucking song. So a little corny, but whatever. But since you snuck in your dab, now they're asking for the dab song. So fair is fair. They want dabs too. So here comes the dab song. It just happens to be long enough for a warm up, cool down, take a puff, cheers, we're done. You know what I mean?
So
So
yeah, cheers everybody.
it is what it is. Like I said, a little corny, but they like it. dabbing out a little bit of Grease Monkey myself. Or no, Sunshine number 3.
Nice, very nice.
Oh, cheers, everybody. Oh, wow. Man, I just don't have the lungs for them dabs, man, on some days. Although I do like it.
Good dab exercise, dab exercise, and stretch the lungs.
You're right, man. Actually, I had a guy, friend of mine, dispensary owner. I used to stop in and fucking back in the day when we could still sell our overages to the dispensaries as they were back then. I'd pop in, he'd always have a rig handy. And he'd always choke me fucking out with that motherfucker. He was always like, man, all right, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now. That's how you basically what you said, stretch some bitches out. He's like, take, half of that. Take half it in, let them lungs open up, blow that shit out, and then fucking take the rest of your hit, man. And I'll be damned. That helped immensely, but it doesn't help too much with these straws. It's a different thing with them straws, really.
Oh yeah, 100%. I like the e-nails one very, very much. I like having control over the temperature. It definitely makes it nice. Plus, I think they only pull like 130 watts from the wall, so it's really cheap. You run all day.
Safer than having that torch around.
Oh yeah, and be able to control the temperature because I mean sometimes depending on I guess it depends on the strain, but sometimes you want a hot dab and sometimes you want like a cooler dab one that ain't gonna kind of kill you from the inside out.
Oh man, fucking. Not to mention, you're not an idiot like myself. The first fucking time I bought, well, it was this one right here. This was pretty. It's been doubly broke, my friend. First time I broke this end. Get this fucking paper off it. Broke this end, and then I fucking ground it down, and then just flipped. You know what I mean?
Oh
And then I
yeah.
just recently broke that fucking end. But
Man.
when I first got this motherfucker, this is what I did, man. I sat there and I fucking took a big old fucking dab, and I fucking unfortunately was fucking shirtless at the fucking time. I'm just sitting here and I fucking touch this sucker against my fucking fat ass belly. And I swear to God, it stank like fucking bacon. It was a big old fucking nice little burn there, but more I was like, God damn it, man, I smell like fucking bacon when I fucking burn. What the fuck? It
It's a
took
one.
instant cauterized though, man. It was hot as fuck, man. It didn't even hurt really. I actually just smelt it. To be honest with you, it was so clean. I was like, shit,
You
that
definitely
ain't
lucky
good.
on that. That's one of those things that only happens once, and you get very mindful after that where that hot end is. I've
Oh yeah.
on the email, I've brushed the knuckle up against it, and burnt the hair off instantly, and the skin, it gets that really nice smell going. Oh yeah, definitely had a few experiences with those, but it don't take a
I
minute before you
prefer
learn that lesson. That's for sure.
dabs, like I said, are something like a little bit newer to me. Not that I haven't hit them before. It's just more of a newer staple, if you will, where I've
Right.
got it a little bit more constantly around. Moreover, I like the bubble. I prefer to wash my extra material and just keep around some good 90, 73, and just pepper my joints with it. Either make some worms or just fucking, fucking, fucking delicious. So, yeah, makes for a good joint. Good flour. But I started to ask you a little bit about it. But what is it about the thunderfuck there that you really like? I've smoked it once a long time ago, but I've never grown it, and like I said, I can't even remember. It's been so long I can't even remember the terp profile.
What sold me on it is I had my brothers. I was getting married, and I had my brothers coming up from Virginia, and they brought
I
some
just
up.
gotta say, brother, I don't mean to cut you off. I love that roller you got, by the way. That's we're right on par on fucking what we're rolling.
Oh yeah,
Can it?
oh yeah. But my brother was coming up from the wedding, and I mean, he kind of surprised me and uh, got up early, and he'd been smoking the whole way up from Virginia. I know how he did it now, but at the time it didn't make sense of how he even made it all the way up. But he had brought Thunderfuck up, and there was just a small bowl. I think we had just 6 people on the one bowl, and we smoked it, and everybody was just glued to the couch. And after that, I've been in love with the strain since. I had to make her the first perpetual. I
Nice.
bought feminized seeds from Pacific Seed Bank. I bought 3 of them and did a little pheno hunt off of those 3 to see which one I wanted to keep as a mom and push the other 2 through. Those were the first mistakes that I did, but I'm glad I kept the most vigorous one because she proved to be a very productive mom. I ran her for a year and a half, and the only reason she died on me is I didn't take clones off her for a couple of months, and I took clones off her a little bit heavily, and she didn't have it, and I replaced her with one of the clones. So I'm only 2 generations away from seed right now with my current mother.
What's that flavor profile like?
It's got a really earthy, piney. On the when it's growing, it's got like a grape on the vine smell, but none of that transfers through on the flavor. I wish it would have because I was actually hoping it would have, but it actually heightened the pine flavor coming through out of this pheno. But it's definitely got the earthy, piney, little sweet, not too a little gassy, but not too bad for me anyways. I smoke it all the time, but it's definitely on the earthy side for sure. But it packs a nice little punch to it, and if you smoke too much of it, it gives you what I like to call bloody eyes, like someone spit dust in your eyes, and you feel like you got rocks and everything in your eyes, and you can't see very well. It'll have that effect on you if you smoke too much of it.
So that's the current. Well, partly. The terp profile I'm chasing right now is the pine side. So like on a scale for pine, like 1 to 10, what are we talking on the pine?
I would say about a midway. It's got the good almost like a pine fire taste in your throat, but not 100% what you're looking for. I think it's got a decent pine, but more on the earthy for sure. A little bit on the musty, but not too bad.
Still sounds interesting. Next time I see it, I'll have to pick some up just to play with it. You know what I mean?
Uh,
Because I definitely like the pine. It's a very interesting terp. For me, I like the fact that it clears my chest, it opens it up, but it clears my mind. That's more or less what I really enjoy about anything pine. Is it just clean. It's like a broom. You inhale that shit, and it's like all the extra bullshit, and it's great to like kind of clearly get things done, and but on the same aspect, if you double up or go at her like this in one of these logs, you know what I mean?
Right.
It tends to just take you to a really good mood, if not, just real laughy. And
Oh yeah,
that's what I
definitely
always have
uplifting.
enjoyed about the pine. And
Oh yeah,
I guess
definitely.
that to me explains why you called out the two. To be honest with you, the orange terps, at least to me and most people that I've like, been around, brings out that smiley, sociable side of them. And again, the pine, same thing. If you're going heavy on the pine, so it sounds like, yeah, that's you like that side of things, and both terp profiles point that way. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, for sure.
I can see why you enjoy both of those
And they're
for
both they
sure.
both do decently good for PTSD. Definitely. I haven't found the cure all for PTSD yet, but I'm still searching. Definitely open to all angles. I'm actually uh, they haven't popped yet, but I have some MTF growing, which is the Matanuska Thunderfuck from AK Bean Brains. Um, I'm hoping I get something good out of that. I have to see, but that one that one's supposed to be really nice because it's supposed to have like a chocolatey, earthy flavor to it, and it's supposed to be as opposed to the Alaskan Thunderfuck. It's supposed to be a 60-40 indica dominant as opposed to the 60-40 sativa dominant that the ATF is. So I definitely love to be able to play with those. And plus, I heard it's got an excellent buzz.
I kill says the Screaming Eagle is great for PTSD, which that's one that I haven't been able to find. That one's
Screaming Eagle. Hmm.
yeah,
I have to look into that one.
that one was by Brothers Grimm back at the time, back when they were still Brothers Grimm. But now it's damn, we're still got stones. Uh, Slime, stone. But peppery strains are also I find that are really good for anxiety. Anything that's like a peppery, the beta caffeine. Man, I can't even think straight. Caffeine. God damn this cotton. Sometimes, man, I too high to even function, I guess.
Oh
But
yeah.
both of those are good in terps
Cheers, Kowski.
as well. So, what besides of what you're growing right now? What have you smoked that else that is along those profiles that tickles your fancy?
Before I started growing, I wasn't really keeping up with the names because there were so many. I was just going off of if it was fire or not, pretty much. I wasn't really keeping up with it. Since I've started growing, I've been keeping up with it more, and some strains that I have smoked are familiar, but some strains are different. So I'm taking baby steps at a new palette, I guess. At least a memorable one.
Right now. So it says you also like mess around building some cloners as well, right?
Oh yeah, I'm a tinker at heart. I build everything. I build cloners. I build the lights. I built an aeroponic setup that I ran. I've ran a couple of different ones so far, and I had a successful run, but it's not quite for me. I tried it. I wanted to try. I challenged myself to try. I had a decent run, and I'm gonna hold that as a success and move on, and definitely push forward with more soil because I definitely pull a lot more and get a lot better results off of that.
So
But
walk
I
me
have
through.
one of my cousins works at a grow shop locally, and he hawks my services. And there's people that want bigger cloners for better prices and what most people can provide on the shelves, and I'm I fit that little margin right there locally pretty good. I make DIY 35 site cloners. I make 5 gallon bucket 7 site cloners, and I tinker around with everything. But I keep all my
Nice.
wiring clean and all my systems clean, and I test everything 100%. I'm I'm a mad scientist at heart for sure.
Um, so what is your magic formula for cloning, if you don't mind me asking? Obviously,
I
since you build a
I
cloner and you have
use
a system that you must like to see.
I use the Conex cloning solution with the Jax clone uh, the clone mix as well. The with some microbes mainly. I like the microbes. I've used Tribus, and I ran that for about 2 years. I really liked it. You know it works really good. But I just recently switched over to bioharmonic tonic, and that one's got a little bit more stuff than the Tribus does, but I'm digging it so far. It's got a lot better price tag as well, about half the price of the Tribus for the same size. And I'm not seeing any noticeable difference in between running the Tribus and the bioharmonic tonic. So I'm calling that one a win so far right now too. The price point on it's just unbeatable if you run the microbes and everything besides labs, because I just started running those, playing with those as well. But the bioharmonic tonic, I think, uh, let's see, the 8.45 ounce bottle of the Tribus, I think this is like a $65-$70 bottle. With the bioharmonic tonic, it's only a $42 bottle shipped to my house, and it's a company out in Oregon. I think Tommy Chong was advertising for him for a little bit, but you know, I'm not unsatisfied with their product. I'm digging it. It works good.
Nice. Who doesn't like to save some cash, man? I know I do.
Oh yeah, the price point alone sells me. I don't like throwing my money away. That's why I build all my own stuff. I I I I personally believe with what I build that I could do it better than anybody else out. Not anybody individually, but the companies out there that are producing the same things. I think I could keep up with them easily. I'm just not. I'm just not full box and tag kind of person. I like do stuff as I go. Keeps things interesting. New projects.
Right on, right on.
I've got about a
I
hundred
like
of
to
them
do.
around the house. Started and not finished. That's the way it goes, though.
So, do you have anything that's in the must pop list that's coming up? You know,
Mainly the MTF. That's my unicorn. That's I've always wanted to grow it after growing the ATF. After hearing about the MTF and it falling off. I mean, not a lot of people grow it or anything like that I've seen, but it looks really good to me. So that's my unicorn right now. And as soon as I hit that way, I'm not sure where I'll go from there. But that was that was a hard one to find.
right on, right on. You want to tell us a little bit about, like, say, you walk us through your veg, like, in technique? You know, how do you go about it? You a topper? Do you like to, Do you
I'm like I said,
scrog them out?
I'm I haven't quite gotten automation down in veg, so because I do all the watering and everything, I can be quite lazy down there afterwards. So I do top. I don't do a lot of training, but I keep tomato cages around them so I don't have to push heavy in silica because I don't want to try to flush anything out. Period. So if I can substitute a little bit of tomato cage for silica, I'm good with that. That night I scrog in flour, so it works pretty easy for me.
I don't use the silicon myself, and it isn't that appealing to me. I understand the benefits of it, but man, it just having to sit there and let it kind of break down in the water for that extra time period just doesn't appeal to me. I don't have that extra hour in between mixing up water to fucking let the silica fucking disperse into the water properly. Just I'd
I
rather
agree.
whip it up, let it mix it heavy as I'm going, good minute and a half in between A and B, and fucking let it. That's my whole process right there. I whip that shit up. I throw in my A, whip that shit up for about a minute and a half by hand, with the fucking hand wand. Let it
I,
sit for a minute while I'm weighing up the B. Same thing with B. Then I let it fucking sit for about 5 minutes, and then I go back and fucking do my water. And why do I want to let each time I do that sit for an hour? Because I have to do that bucket, which is 20 gallons at a time, three fucking times. That's three
oof.
hours of mixing
Oh
before I
yeah.
just fucking get to work. I can't do it.
I have a big old half-inch drill with a 5 gallon paint mixer with the big plastic stirrers on it. And I use that to mix up my feed 5 gallons at a time. And I use a 6 gallon ale bucket because it's the only way I can find a 6 gallon bucket. And you're mixing with a half-inch drill, things get kind of crazy quick. It's definitely you know it's definitely worth it just because I don't like hand cranking and just pulling the trigger is a lot easier for me. Being a soldier, that just fits like a glove.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I'm I'm definitely lazy when it comes to some aspects when it comes to growing, but if I can automate it, I'm definitely heading that way for sure.
Some would say lazy, some would say you're just working smart, my friend.
Agree,
Why work
agree.
hard when you can work smart? I mean,
Oh yeah, one
some
hundred
things make
percent.
sense.
I agree.
Again, that just sounds to me like good time delegation right there. You know what I mean? You want to do that,
Right.
or you want to fucking be. I want to be mixing, or you want to be smoking. You want to be fucking hanging out with your friends. What do you want to do?
Exactly. One hundred
Just
percent.
so. What about hanging out in through the flower there? Do you got any tricks and tips in the flower room that you'd be willing to pass on?
Sugars. Push the sugars. It pushes through on the flavor. I think it helps with bulking a little bit. I mean, I think it gave my Agent Orange almost a 40% increase in yield versus not running the more diverse sugars. So because I don't do much training, I do lollipop. I do uh, I bend them over, I break them, I weave them through the trellis netting. But other than that, I don't really do too much because I'm always watering, always watering, always mixing up water for sure. But it keeps the medicine going, so you can't complain, I guess. First world problems.
Right right on. So, do you? What do you think about plant height? How is your plant height? Do you like a medium girl, you know, kind
Mine
of bushy, or?
the ones that I run on perpetual, they're not too big of a stretchers during flower. So after I super crop them and weave them through and everything, they might go up maybe another 6 to 8 inches. So I deal with that and I move my light accordingly and everything. But I don't have I don't have really heavy stretchers. I did at one point. I had a Dosey Do Time Skittles, and that one probably had about a 60% stretch and flower, and it seemed like I was super cropping that one once a week until it finally stopped, and then it still went up. It was definitely a battle, but I think I won in the long run.
So I got a I do enjoy the LEDs. We were talking about that the other night about terp quality or terp production and oil production on with the LEDs. Is that something that you've noticed yourself? Is grease your buds with different LEDs?
It's one of the reasons I have the blue in my color recipe is that the 65K in late flower it lathers up the trichomes. That it just pushes them to where it just lathers them up, and that's why I have a small amount of the 65K in my flower lights. It's where that kicks in for sure. I've noticed it definitely it lathers them up for sure, makes them build pretty good.
Right on, right on. So, how important in your eyes do you see is the importance of like some of these far reds? Do you utilize any of the far reds?
I have a couple. I have one light that has the far reds in them, but I have some 660s that I shoot straight up at my ceiling that I use as part of my Emerson effect because of the sun up and sun down. Those come out, the red LEDs come on for the first half an hour and the last half an hour, but when the lights are really dim, I get the whole Emerson effect where the sun is actually going down with the red and all that. I still have to run the 730s. I don't have those run yet, but to have the true Emerson effect, but I'm definitely going for that direction.
Uh, are you running a 12-12 light cycle? Or are you adjusting it and fading it down a little bit
Oh
there?
yeah, I'm definitely
Tweaking it,
12
warming
12,
it up,
and
warming it
I'm
down?
I'm 12 12, but not I my ramp up and ramp down are within that 12 12 parameter. So I'm only pushing because I when I first started, I was actually running it uh, a half hour. Well, I was running a full hour for sun up and a full hour for sun down, and just looking at it visually, it didn't go fast enough. And you know, when it's down really dim, it does do a really good effect on helping the plants wake up slowly or whatever. But pushing it the whole hour was a little long. I switched over to a half hour sun up, and I get the full Emerson effect with the sun up and sun down to where when it's dimmed all the way down, it's really red, and it builds up until the red disappears. And the same on the other end where it fades into all red. But I don't go out of it gets 11 hours right now during the day of solid light, but I have the lightning channels and the cloud channels as well that are constantly dimming and going out, and a strobe here or a strobe here. And it's pretty cool because that controller right here is actually a fish tank lighting controller, and with that I can control 16 different drivers and lights, and I can have the sun up, the sun down. I can control the channels individually. I'm running a couple of quantum boards, which I really don't like that much. It was actually a veg light, which was turned down a lot. But in my controller, I have that turned down about a quarter of the way. It's got 4,095 different levels of settings to turn it down and up. And I also have the ability to punch in a latitude and longitude. If I was growing land race, I could, like, I was going to Afghani, I could, get the latitude and longitude of Afghanistan, punch it into that controller, and when the sun comes up in Afghanistan, that would kick on, and when the sun goes down over there, that would kick off. With the whole
That'd
land
be
race
pretty
thing,
wild.
the only thing I can't replicate is the elevation. I can replicate the heat and the parameters that it lives in to be happy and all that. I just can't do the elevation. One day. I don't have an anti gravity
So
machine yet, though.
once you started trying to mimic the Emerson effect, what were some of the things you noticed right off the bat? In your flower
I think it helps the
or
plants
in the
wake up.
plants in general.
I think it helps the plants wake up a little bit easier, but I'm looking at the longevity I'm getting out of my equipment by the slow ramp up and the slow ramp down and the cloud channels and the lightning channels. I mean, it's cool. It's a lot of bells and whistles, but I'm looking at the longevity on the far end of my equipment, more or less. Instead of it, from the timer turns on 100% blast up to nothing at the end, it's a lot easier on the wallet and the equipment. And I'm not one to push something too hard to where the light would have a critical failure or anything like that. I like to keep things within their parameters.
So, was there a quality difference in quality of the bud and maybe yields when you switched over and started mimicking it as well? I understand the equipment, the savings on the equipment, but was there difference in the product in the plant though?
I don't know anything different because I've been running them since I started growing. Because I mean, I had the pink lights for the first 3 months, and then I built my own light and ran with it. 'Cause at that time, I was running with two tents, and then I quickly outgrew tents and just went to rooms. It's just so much easier. It's hard to control a small environment as opposed to a big room. It's very easy to control a room.
I think it's funny that I think it's funny is you know I forget that a lot of people are beginning to grow in this newer phase of cannabis, where the, uh, a lot of growers now, that's what they know. It's just LED. You know what I mean? I forget that there's I guess it's becoming more and more less people like myself that have started out with the old Dowies, 600s, and shit like that. Pretty soon, it's gonna be before long. Everybody I talk to, it's gonna be like, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, dude.
Well,
What is a magnetic ballast? Hold on, I'll tell you about LEDs if you tell me what the fuck a magnetic ballast is.
you guys definitely led the way, and they've definitely, they've served their purpose for a long time, very well. But they've just gotten to an inefficiency as opposed to what can be done with everything else. But with a bigger grow, they're still a lot easier and cheaper to run. But the power is just the consumption. I mean, it's got to hurt the wallet the more you run. I've never personally ran them, but I've converted a couple of people from the HBS metal halide to the LEDs.
I dare to say, with at the rate LEDs are improving and the cost scale kind of dwindling down with technology there, I really dare say it's going to become a time to where you can buy in right now, and then in a couple of years, it's still going to be very cost feasible because you've saved so much money. You know
Oh
what
yeah,
I mean? In power
oh yeah.
consumption and shit to just re-gift them to somebody else at a decent cost, and then upgrade again. You know what I mean? To what's current, and like you said, it is kind of cheap still, very cheap to throw up a bunch of HPS lights, but just
The
like you said again, it ain't buying you much time. You might as well throw it out now and start saving some money and shit instead of just fighting it, in the
but
beginning to get to LEDs.
the good part about it now is even if you started off with like the LM561Cs, which are like the second best diode that Samsung makes, they're really cheap to buy. But even if you build your platform and build it off of them style LEDs, if you run into money in the future, all you got to do is pull that LED strip off and put the new LED strip on, and you're current. It's that simple. After you buy the heat sinks or the frame and put your everything together. I mean, the bar lights are all 24 volts.
I never really realized, honestly, that the drivers were so versatile, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have them all different shapes and sizes up here. Some of them run at constant current, some of them run at constant voltage. I mean, the quantum board I have is running at 54 volts, and that driver itself, when it's running at its maximum voltage, that one cooks. That one gets up to like 120 degrees. That's one of the main reasons I have that turned down, and one of the main reasons I have the amp rack outside of the room because it keeps that extra heat out. I have that little bit of control to be able to do that. So why not? Instead of
What
having the
is it
drivers
exactly
instead of
that you
having the
don't like
drivers
about the
above the
quantum?
lights and everything, I can keep them all out here. It's just remote drivers.
Right on, right on. On average, how much do you think that saves in heat pulling them out of the room like that?
I don't know. It's another thing. I only had the one light in a tent for a while, and then I switched to rooms. And after I switched to rooms, I had the drivers outside of the rooms, just because I knew it was a factor I had that much little bit of control on. So why not? It's just a little bit extra wire.
Right on. I have yet to actually pull them out of my room. All my shit's still in my room right now. You know what I mean? I've actually thought about running like a ballast room or trying to run everything up to the attic or somewhere else. Get it out of here. Mainly, or less, it's been lately just thinking about the extra frequency. Been reading into how frequency relates to plants and how they use it and shit. And I'm kind of wondering if I get rid of a lot of the extra bullshit that's in the room, if I'll notice some difference in my environment
I run.
altogether.
I actually run frequency. I play Indian flutes, Native Indians, the flutes or whatever, and most of the flutes are tuned to 432, and that's a good growing frequency, 432.
Nice, nice. I never realized that. And but I do like I like frequency. I listen to like binaural beats. I like take power naps under different fucking frequencies and shit like that. I'm a firm believer in its use from as far as human use.
Right.
And moreover, I kind of believe it's the basis of everything. To be honest with you, it takes every shape and form basically, and I think it's the way a lot of us communicate. I think it's the key to different knowledge. I think the whole Akashic records, basically, I believe, is just another level of frequency that we're just none of us are customly attuned to. That some of us, maybe through the use of DMT or just meditation, that are able to fall into. Some of the greats like Casey, and I forget his name.
Tesla.
He was an Indian mathematician
Oh
that was
yeah, I
said he
can't
was
remember
able
his name.
to
I remember his name.
access it.
Right.
But a lot of them guys were able to do it in their sleep, and that may be just a thing to where their brain, the master, the master tuner at the moment of this vessel. I got to point that out of this vessel because I'm sure it changes as the spirit leaves from form to form. But
Right.
I think that's as they rested and were able to fall out. Maybe the tuner was able to just add just enough static and fall out to maybe fall into that next place, and that's where they were able to, pull out some of that shit. But
Right.
frequency is a really crazy subject, and you know, it's weird that the more people that I talk to, the more people I find out that they have an interest in frequency and how it relates to shit. And, I think the guy down in Florida, they built the Coral Castle, and the Egyptians were able to master some type of frequency and moving blocks, all them
Oh
heavy
yeah.
blocks and shit. We wonder.
Oh yeah. 100%.
What are your thoughts? Obviously, you've done a little bit of research. Let me pick your brain about some of your thoughts on frequency and what it relates to and all that good shit.
I think there definitely needs to be more research into it, but I think that's the key to a lot of different things. Nikola Tesla found frequency and electricity and numbers. You know, I love that kind of stuff. It makes your mind work and makes you ask questions. I'm all about asking questions. Why can't I make it and save money instead of spending a lot of money and getting a name brand anything and just paying out? Why not just do it myself? All I gotta do is pay attention to the design, pick it up, and I see things like Legos when I'm putting things together, and they just automatically fit together in my mind, and then I run off that design and bring it to life. It's kind of like an engineer's mind, but it works.
And again, that 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 kind of I wonder about that too. To be honest with you, it's everybody should, because we all have talents that come natural to us. You know what I mean? That Rain Man talent I believe each one of us have it. You know what I mean? Like that Rain Man talent
Oh
that
yeah,
we can't explain,
back
and
in
it
the day,
might be a
it used to be called a
quirky as
niche.
fuck. Yeah, it might be, but and what I mean, it might be quirky as fuck. Some of us might even hate that, that's ours. You know what I mean? To us, we might be like, shit, I can't believe that's the one I got. But that's what you should fucking nurture. That was your
Right?
gift. You know what I mean?
Oh
You should
yeah.
be going after that shit. And so,
Oh,
with that being said, don't you kind of wonder where you get that, what I mean, from? You know what I mean? That ability. Do you think,
right.
again, that's just you're able, either do you think that's either something that you acquired in a past life, or do you believe that's maybe just your leak into the record there?
I don't know. I like gardening because it's therapeutic for me. So playing around with anything, it's all fun, and I think that's what keeps my drive going. Is that it's still fun to me. If it gets boring, I'll probably walk away from it because I think I have undiagnosed ADHD from childhood. I just had it beat out of me at a young age, but you know I I use it to my advantage and I put that energy into whatever I'm doing instead of letting it steer away from me. It, it's kind of I don't know. Like a little bit of a superpower. You just got to learn how to harness it. It helped me all the way
Right
through
on.
life, working extra jobs, and I've always built my own everything. just been that person. I grew up poor, and if I wanted something, I had to make it, or I couldn't buy it. Definitely had to make it. But
Sounds to me like you need somebody that you can entrust to take it to the next phase. Because if you, it sounds like again we much share in that attitude right there of I am very much one that likes to dive into something and play with it, and then at a certain point, I can't even explain it. It's like, okay, I'm done with it. Slide it away. I may never even touch it again. You know what I mean? I've taken
oh
as far as I want to play with it, and a lot of that is to be honest with you, okay, let me see if you can relate this to with some of the projects that you do, and maybe even I heard that like the lights you've said that you've kind of got 100 of them laying around that might be not quite finished or whatever. Let me see if this applies to some of that. I am a very skilled carpenter. I like to build products. And moreover, what strikes my fancy about something you just said is the way that you see things. And every everything that I've ever designed, I've always designed it in my head, and I've never, very rarely, committed to paper. It's only until I can't relate it verbally to the customer that I'll actually sit down and draw it to paper. And at that point, it's like I'm almost insulted because I couldn't explain it that well. I'd rather, in most times, rather than explain it, I'm like, just have faith in me. You're gonna be happy with the outcome. Just trust me. I see it. I see it. Just
right,
have faith with me.
right. It's there.
You'll like what
It's
you
there.
see.
It's like it'd be easier if you could plug in their vision to your vision and see the vision, because it'd be simple.
Yeah,
Not have to say anything. That'd be beautiful,
exactly. But
man.
there comes a point. There's like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. All right, in
Oh,
fact, go finish, brother.
you're good.
Uh, okay. I'm sorry. I am sorry again, my friend.
Oh, you're fine, man.
In my instance, when it come to the woodworking, everybody kind of really enjoyed what I did. You know, the pieces that I made. But it came to a point where 10, 12. I actually, because I didn't have anybody working with me, I never entrusted anybody with the quality or the vision. You know what I mean? I hated
Right,
the fact that passing it along, I had to fucking commit it to paper or make a jig or fucking something to be able to
I
pass
did.
it on to the next person.
It's funny because I
So I
actually
limited.
I did a lot of construction as well, and I was always the cut guy. I I wouldn't write numbers down. I'd walk over and cut my number, my angle, everything I'd have to do, hand it up, and it'd be 100% go just about every time. So I feel you with the whole trust in somebody else, because I've seen a stack of wood just get burned up with the wrong person, cutting or throwing down numbers or anything like that. It can get lost.
I was a cut man. I was a cut man one point on a framing crew myself, and I always would fucking trip them fuckers out, handing out some sheets because I would always be able to figure out common numbers, and studs, that whatever it was, the interval. Oh, it's only like an inch and a half every one. It's gaining. So like in like sheets and stuff, it was always easy for me to, on a 4x12, you know what I mean? The pitch of the roof, I could hand them their next sheet before they even called out the number because I knew the last number of the angle. You add whatever the pitch was to it. Which
Right,
on a 412, that's fucking 16 inches to your last number. That should be your
right.
fucking angle. Here's your next fucking piece. And
Yeah,
half of them, the time I'd be like 3 pieces ahead, and they'd be like, "How in the fuck do you?"
it's
Trust me, I
amazing.
got this, man. It's in the
That's
numbers. It's
skill.
in the numbers.
That's skill.
But in the pieces that we're talking about here, I'd get bored. by the time I made, like 20 curio cabinets that people liked, or I did CD towers and fucking DVD things and shit like that. By the time I hit 20, I didn't want to make another one of them motherfuckers for nothing. I don't care how much you were paying with me. I was just bored of it. I was just bored of it. I did that design so many fucking times. The fun was coming up with design and building it a couple of times. And after that, it just kind of, once it became repetitive, it was no fun, no longer fun anymore.
It's blah.
That's for sure.
It's just
That's
blah.
for sure.
I've
So is
lost.
that what you kind of find with the lights?
Well, not so far. They, I mean, you can go so many different directions with them because I mean, with with different grows and be able to customize the light for different people. Like just as a for instance, if someone's growing in a basement, they need their extra heat in the wintertime and they need it in the summertime to keep up with the day instead of incorporating a heater or whatever. I can take my strips instead of putting them on a 2.079 profile heat sink. I could put them on a 1 inch heat sink where the LEDs will still be on the heat sink itself, but the diet or the heat sink that the LEDs are on will actually be over the edges just a little bit. And with that factor, I create just a little bit extra heat off of that. That because the heat sink itself can't keep up with the extra heat input. So I can play around with designs and incorporate that kind of things into the builds. Whereas if the person definitely doesn't want heat, I'd throw the 2.079 profile on it, and you can have that thing cooking at it like 2100 milliamps, and it'd be about 85 degrees all day, and that's pushing a lot of power through the diodes, but it'd be very efficient and it'd keep up with the heat for sure.
Watch my little guy here, man. He's not usually hanging out with me in the grow room, but I was telling this story a little bit last night that he got messed up, man. The other day, I'm not quite sure how he got messed up. I almost think they dragged my road the other day, but nobody's fessing up, and I have no proof. But the little guy jumped on the couch the other night, and he wasn't even fucking whimpering or nothing. And Lexi, my middle daughter, goes to pet him, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "What's the matter?" She's like, "I think one of his eyes is out of place." And yeah,
Wow.
and this is like 9 o'clock at night, and I go over and I look at him, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's not right, you know." It's not like where the pink comes out on some dogs. This
Right.
I've got pictures here, man. It was out. It was out of place. I don't know if he was maybe playing in the road and got hit by the drag of the vehicle, or what the fuck happened. But he got fucked up, whatever it was. Maybe even the trailer park neighbor back there. I don't know. Regardless, this fucker's was taking it like a champ. He was
Right.
not crying or nothing, not a whimper, and it just kind of showed it to her, and we're like, what the fuck? And he sat here all night long that night by my side and wouldn't cry or nothing unless I was away from him. And that's the what I was saying last night. What a fucking touching thing I find it to be. What an honor to be, this dog's fucking pain pill. Because if I walk away from him or he walks away from me, he cries and cries and cries. But as long as this dog's by my side, he's been fucking totally cool as fuck. And
Oh
he is
wow.
going through some shit. Yesterday, he was at the vet all day long, and actually had to put it they put it back into place. They say that they're very confident he's going to get back his vision. I can see it kind of moving right now, but they've got a stitch kind of holding one eye, and it's all he's in their cone. That's why he's not normally allowed in the grow room, but right now,
Right.
you know,
He needs the
with that honor,
right.
pretty cool. Let me show you. He's a cool ass dog. Hey, little buddy, little trooper here. Look at him. Oh,
Oh yeah, a cute pup.
look at that.
Wow,
Can you believe that shit?
that's
But
nuts.
yeah, he's a fucking trooper. I mean, and as long and this is a no word of a lie, man. I actually stayed up late last night, almost 9 o'clock this morning, until my daughter got up and we could hang out with him just because I couldn't bear to leave his side. And he's not allowed in my bedroom, that's for sure. But I didn't want to leave his side, so I stayed up until she could take over. So
I
you
don't
see him
blame
wandering
it.
around in the background. It's not the usual thing there. That's why I'm kind of watching him a little bit. So might make sure he's watching, minding his P's and Q's in here. But
Right.
it does, man. What an honor to be an animal's crutch like that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for
It's
sure. They're definitely our best
warms
friend.
my heart.
Animals are or dogs are a man's best friend for a reason.
You got dogs?
I have a female dog. The the father was a Great Pyrenees and Lab, and the mother was a Rottweiler, and I have the results of that. But she's probably every bit of 90 pounds and almost pulls your arms right out of your socket. But she's a damn
Nice.
good dog, and I'm trying to train her to be a service dog. I'm working on it so far. I'm working on her listening abilities and all that fun part of the training early on everything. She's still young.
What does it take to actually get their title as a service dog?
Uh, I have PTSD through the military and everything. All I have to do is train the dog, and she would be considered my service dog because it'd be like a companion dog at that point. But with the service dog features, be able to take the dog with you to the stores and everything. I don't do much of that yet, anyways, but I'm working towards it.
Be cool. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
but I'm gonna definitely head out. I'm feeling kind of tired. I got up early this morning, made a couple of long bike rides, so I'm gonna have to sign out a little bit early. But I do appreciate the interview and hanging out, and it's an honor, and it's definitely a blessing to
Before you
be.
take off,
Go ahead.
there's a couple of things well, one thing I want to tell you,
Okay.
and that's keep these numbers handy in case you're ever up late or whatever. If you happen to tune on the show and it's like a one-on-one like this, then it's kind of obvious that the numbers don't apply. You know what I mean? But
Right.
if you just see me like on babbling by myself, or it's like a panel like episode, and we're talking something that you like to talk about, or if you want to just come on and smoke and ask questions, or some of them we're just talking. There's been a lot of them we're talking frequency and rabbit hole type shit. You know,
Oh
you're
yeah.
always welcome. You have to do the episode to be kind of to just jump on at any minute like that. So keep the numbers, and if you ever want to jump on, you're more than welcome to come hang
Oh
out.
yeah.
That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Secondly, I don't know if you know what the fuck the soundbite is, but I'm hoping that I can get my soundbite from you or your soundbite. Uh,
I'm not
this is
sure what that is.
130, by the way. Well, the soundbite is basically it's like the old school like radio station identification where the artist is I'm on Pantera, and this is a fucking Z-Rock, you know what I mean? But in this case, it'd be more like, hey, this is Michigan Native, and I'm on fucking Talking Shit with Eagle, episode 130. You can add it, you can play with it, you know, make it as bland as you want. But this is kind of your advertisement for your episode, you know what I mean? So, you know, I'm gonna probably post this, and hopefully they'll see that shit and be like, hey, that's a cool dude right there. I gotta go check that episode out. So, with all that being said, could you give me your soundbite, my friend?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm a Michigan native, and I'm on Eagles talking shit with Eagle. And thank you, brother.
Hell yeah, thank you, my friend. And like I said, keep them numbers, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. Much love.
Have a good night, man.
Peace.
Peace, man. Michigan native tonight, man. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's episode. Gonna fucking, as you know, I'm gonna check out in this episode so it does not get taken down. I am very tired of getting things taken down because of my stupidity of playing music, uncopyrighted or copywritten music, rather. I'm getting better at my choices, but still not worth the risk as I kick the camera around. Um, so, with that being said, I'll probably check out and then I'll check right back in and see if whoever wants to fucking jump in and talk, hang out, and whatever comes next is what comes next. See y'all in the rabbit hole. I'll be back in a few minutes. Shout outs, and I want to make this clear too. I still do my shout outs. I still shout everybody out at the end of every night's programming. Unfortunately, I don't want to do them twice. It'd take 10 minutes off every episode to do them twice, but I still do your shout outs at the end of every episode. So if you want shout outs, you got to make to the end of the rabbit hole. So if you don't have to tune in for that, thank you so much. Do something nice for somebody. Random acts of kindness. Thank you for tuning in. Much love. But for the rest of you guys that want to hang out, I'll see you in a minute. Peace.